Hey everyone, how's it going? Azren here. Hope you're doing well. I want to do a slightly different post today. This one is talking more about the business of languages. What I mean by that is when you look at my life, right, there's a lot of things I do that are very focused on language learning, but there's also a very significant part of my life that is focused around the business of languages because my full-time income actually comes from teaching languages and basically a bunch of tasks related to language learning. And so what I've done today is I've taken a roughly 25 minute clip here from a conversation I had with somebody by the name of Aaron. Aaron was someone that I used to work with when I was a general manager at a window cleaning franchise. And Aaron and I, we still keep in touch, and once every 2 weeks we talk for roughly an hour. And I like to get some outside perspectives and some feedback on various elements of my business from Aaron. And I find that it really helps me out a lot. So sit back, enjoy this conversation. I think it's very insightful. I think it's a very different side of me and a very different side of my content that usually, you guys don't really get to see or hear if you're on the podcast here. Yeah, enjoy.
How are you doing with the Facebook ad stuff or have you played around with that very much? I know you
Yep,
said you're
I
trying to do
have,
something
and
with
then
that, so
yeah, I have, and it's been good and bad at the same time. So there's been a lot of good things, and there's been a lot of learning of like, oh wow, it looks like this has been an issue. So one thing I hadn't realized was that whenever I've done Facebook ads in the past, even with window cleaning, even with because I used to run some, turns out I just didn't know they actually a lot of the Facebook side of things, like the number of clicks, the cost per click, like the relevance of the ads were actually quite good. The reason I wasn't getting the results I wanted was what happened after that click. So where did they land, and
yeah.
what did it look like? What did the landing page look like? What was written? What was the call to action? What all of that stuff.
hmm
Because I actually I had a call with Facebook actually.
That's cool.
Yeah, they like put some ad on my, or like they put like a little pop up on my Facebook saying, "Hey, want to learn how to use ads? Schedule a call with us." Like, perfect. And when we analyzed it, they're like, "Yeah, your ads are performing really well. Like, actually, if you look at all of our standards, this, that, the other thing, it's doing really well." I was like, "Really?" And they're like, I was like, "So what's the issue?" She's like, "Well, it has to be wherever they're going next." And I was like, "Oh, that's true."
hmm
So the funny part is that all this time I've thought that I was struggling with Facebook. Well, it's not the Facebook part I was struggling with. It's actually what happened next I was struggling with. The next part that they're going to.
Your cold caller's killing it, but the person doing the estimates is terrible.
You got it. Exactly. Exactly. Perfect analogy.
Yeah. And
So,
you just had no idea how many leads were actually happening, right, or whatever.
yeah.
It was.
So I didn't even realize that. So I was like, oh, wicked. So it's good learning. So it spent money and that didn't really lead to anything, but finally learned something of value. I was like, oh, I know where my next steps are.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep.
Cool. So I know it's. I guess you had a few other things. I mean, what else do you want to? What's the best use of the rest of our
Let
time
me
here?
see here. I'll put the email to you here. Yeah, rest of it here. A couple things here quick. So like, I'll probably start. I'll start using this. I'll start using our calls as a way to keep accountability towards my health.
Sure.
I already have someone else I talk to as well, just a friend of mine that's big into fitness and all that. So we talk, but just an extra accountability system to make sure I'm taking the steps that I want to be taking. So right now, just to share the things I've decided on doing is I'm looking for a yoga teacher who teaches in Chinese. So that's like a two birds, one stone.
Yeah, for sure.
So looking for that, and then
Isn't that the worst saying ever?
it really is.
So, that's just such a bad saying, and we use it all the time. It's like, and nobody flinches at it, right? But it'd be like, yeah, it'd be like hitting two dogs with one car.
Yeah.
You'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, killed two birds, one stone. You're like, well, who throws rocks at birds?
Yeah.
This is actually terrible.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But no, it's true though. It's true. But yeah, so it's something I'm looking for. And either way, yeah, because I want to work on a few aspects. Right now, my main priorities are cardio and then my own flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
Those are kind of two main areas. Uh, Here we go. Yeah, next thing here, just a quick brainstorm on so over the next probably I'd say month, there's I'm gonna be on two people's podcast slash YouTube channels that have very big audiences,
That's cool.
which is
Good,
really
good for you.
great.
We
So
talked about that in our
yeah,
first.
yeah. So in the past, I've done smaller, like I've done small collaborations, but this is like we're looking at big bases, like so it's not 100% set in stone, but it's likely. Let's say that.
Mhm.
So what the brainstorm I want to have is if all things go well, there's probably going to be a decent influx of people that are learning about me.
Mhm.
My gut says that it doesn't make. My gut says that I shouldn't really be making a big push to monetize anything on that immediately. My gut says to just keep being patient with it. Just be patient and just just keep patient
I
with it and
I agree. I think like the first time someone sees you like monetize. I mean, you can monetize it with like ads on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like that's like passive
yeah.
monetization. That's
What I mean
me
by
letting it.
monetizing is like there's like something they could buy from me where I'm really making good money or like decent
Yeah,
money.
I think that takes a while.
Yeah.
Like I even think like anybody that unless it's like so crazy unique,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't buy it right away. But it's like it's almost the approach of say take any of Tim Fair like any of those the big people. It's like attention. They capture and gather as much attention as they can
Mm-hmm.
for years.
Years. Yep.
And then they monetize it with one thing,
Yeah.
a book
Sure.
or whatever.
Yeah.
I think like getting money out of people would be really challenging. Like as I said, like an advertiser is fine, but like if I found out about somebody tomorrow and I loved them and I thought they were awesome, I don't think I would buy anything from them directly. I might follow them and I might be a consumer of them,
Mm-hmm.
but not a consumer of
That.
like their products
Yeah. That's what I figured.
unless it was like crazy. So like when I say that, I mean it'd have to be like crazy. So I'm trying to even think of like passion for me, right? Like say it's like fishing, right? Like say I found out about a new guy or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I went to that. Unless it was like that one, I might buy something because it's a passion, but it would have to be like something that is so unique that I hadn't seen it before. And I'm like, I should have that.
Mm.
But if I got to know that person and went through stuff and saw things and whatever, I might eventually go, yeah, maybe you know what, I should pick that other thing up. And so when you're saying like sell things, like are you like what types of stuff do you mean?
Probably more in the line of more along the lines of probably more along the lines of like lessons, whether it's
Yeah,
with me or whether I actually put together something that's more conducive for groups or with another tutor to actually have something in place. But my gut said no, just to stay away from it.
well, I think you can have like I think there's two different things, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think it's like if you go get those things in place so they exist,
Yeah.
and that's what you that's your thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then you gather a bunch of attention. Like eventually they'll start coming closer and closer and closer and closer together. So I don't think they're mutually
Okay.
exclusive per se.
Okay.
I think
Fair
it's
enough.
like go if you think you've got this thing. So build something now that you think that you're going to monetize in 18 to 24 months.
Right.
And then go build all this attention and have it around there. And if this, like the market will tell you whether or not if this other thing that you're talking about actually has value, the market's going to take it on anyways.
Mm.
And then if this thing actually has value and then you gather a bunch of attention, they will eventually intersect. I
True.
don't think you can build something preemptively to try to monetize attention. I think you need to build something that's good and build attention. And once you have attention, if you've got something that's good, naturally it's gonna
Okay.
come over.
Yep.
Right? It'd be like if someone was like, or a grocery store. I'm just like abstract, right? Like if a grocery store was like, we know that we're going to have a million people come through our grocery store for some whatever reason. So they decided to bring in, because of that, some like strange product.
Sure.
Like they're like, we want every product, every food from every country, everywhere, constantly, so that when all these people come through, we have a million choices for them. Meanwhile, you're like, I don't know what I don't even know what a star fruit is.
Sure.
So it's like, have enough stuff there that like what like people are going to go consume and use and have, but then build that attention as much as you can, and then at that point, that's where that attention is going to naturally turn into people wanting to work with you.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. And then go ahead.
Is there, as I said, the other thing you might have or start or play with or something is like, I don't even know. I say it almost every week we talk, but it's like the whole language nerd thing. I love it. I think it's awesome. It'd be interesting if you had like I don't know if there's other people, I'm assuming there are, that are like kind of passionate about this thing, about language. Be interesting if you could get other people to start affectionately referring to themselves as language nerds. And like, for example, you're wearing an aeroplane, like have a t-shirt that says language nerd. Like you might actually wear that with pride. Someone else might actually wear that with pride.
Yeah.
But it's a language nerd, but that's actually, your brand is the language nerd. Right, you're actually Azren, the language nerd. Maybe you are just the language nerd or a language nerd, or something around that. Because
that's interesting.
That's pretty simple, but like, and I'm trying to think of like how that drives anything.
I think my perspective, I think that's super cool actually, and like where my brain went when you said that is like, it's a completely different topic than everything you're talking about, which is fine, but it's actually good. Like if I have an audience, right, and it's not a major revenue driver by any means, but it's a big branding piece in a lot of ways. Like another thing, not just t-shirt, but like if you even have like a phone wallpaper, like whatever language or whatever, every time looking at their phone, obviously they're not saying Azren the language nerd, they're seeing the language nerd, but mentally speaking, I would not be shocked if they're watching my stuff and they follow me when they see the language.
That can be a crazy give. You can get fun with that. Can you imagine having a cool shirt, like the words in a pattern that's like in like 30 different languages that said language nerd? That'd be cool. You know what I mean? Like that'd be kind of funny. Or like a mosaic, like you said, like a phone wallpaper, but it's like in 20 different languages and it says the language nerd in 10 different languages over and over and over in different things. And I mean, that could be a great give. Like maybe the phone thing is simple. That's great. Like it's a give. And you say like that could be a good thing when you go, if you say you go on these podcasts, you go, hey guys, just so you know, I know a lot of people listening to this right now are language nerds, and I affectionately refer to myself as the same. I've got I wanted to give, it's a wallpaper. If you're interested in it, it's free. There's no ask. Go to my website. You can download the wallpaper for free. I think it's hilarious. You might like it as your wallpaper. I don't know, whatever, phone wallpaper or desktop background or whatever you want to use it for. And it's a give, and people come to your site. It's driving people to your site, and it's like a genuine give. It's not a manipulative. I want you to come to my site because when you land there, you're then going to get asked to do this whole thing. We just go, guys, it's a gift, and then you capture it, and people have it around, and they kind of remember who you are.
Yeah, it's just a branding piece, right?
And all I ask for in return is a subscribe or a follow. Right? And you may not say that like in your podcast. It's like, hey, go do it for free. I think it's funny. I'll send it to you now or whatever. However you do, I don't know, whatever you do. And then when they hit your website, the only thing you ask for is a subscribe. A little like you like, right? A little whatever, as a currency.
Yeah.
And then you start to build some subscribers, and maybe sometimes somewhere down the line, maybe they never ever take a lesson from you, but they start following your content and you get some ad revenue out of it down the line. Or maybe they fall in love, like the language nerd. Like I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I would wear a shirt that said like, I don't even know. I'm trying to think of all sorts of silly stuff. You know what I mean? Like, look what I'm wearing right now. It's like this.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's just, people wear stuff that says
they identify with it. Yeah.
Exactly. So if you can identify, like, and I think we're at like that language nerd thing. is like five. It's like 95% there, right? Because again, no one's probably going to wear Azren the language nerd except for you.
Yeah.
But people might wear the language nerd, or not the or they might just wear language
nerd. Yeah, they might like something like even as like like they definitely there's something there. There's something there. You have
and
to
then
figure out.
it's like how you want to make it your brand, right? Or like what your brand really is, right? Like, are you so? And I'm not asking you. It's like, do you care about being Azren the language nerd, or do you care about being like language nerd?
I like my name.
I know you.
I
I
love
know,
my
and that's
freaking name.
fine.
I'm sick and yeah. So me like maybe I'll change my mind, but like as of right now, I like Azren.
And maybe you actually just make it blank the language nerd.
Could be, yeah.
And that's your community,
yep.
Right? Where you go, I'm, and you're just one of the community. You think of it that way. You're like Azren the language nerd, and everybody's like blank the language nerd, right? And I don't know, maybe I don't know what the cost is, or start creating things like stickers.
Yeah.
So when you go to like you speak at some of these little conferences or things like that. You hand out stickers where it's like blank the language nerd, and they can actually write their name. You know what a name tag says, hello, my name is?
Yep.
How hilarious would that be? Every time somebody comes to your conference, they do that, and they have the ability to actually put it on them, and then they know they can go to a T-shirt that says, your T-shirt probably then needs to go, or I'm using a T-shirt as an example, whatever it is, it's then the language nerd.
Yep.
And it'd be cool to have like that. And you would know your community. I don't know. I would never put something on me, the language nerd, but I'd be like, I'd wear something that said like, I don't even know, something about fishing. Like if it was catchy and I thought it was hilarious, I'd be like, it's kind of funny. Yeah, I'll take that. That's right. Like if you've seen our other brand, right? Like, I do. So like this people freaking love this.
Yeah, it's on your hat too. Actually, it's on your hat.
Yeah, exactly. So like, but that's the whole thing, right? Like people love it. They think it's funny. People don't buy it because we intentionally don't have we have a little fish head, but we've bought a bunch of stuff that's intentionally without a fish head, without anything, because people will buy something that says "woo," because the word is fun and people laugh at it, and they have it's a bit of a joke and. We did those wallpapers. Actually, we haven't sent them out. Maybe that's a good thing for us to actually do, because we did buffs. You know what I mean, like the face buffs.
Yep.
So we that's one of our apparel pieces. But I've been using. I'm just looking at my phone because I've been using the background as a background because I love it. I think it's a really cool image. We should actually make that. I'm thinking like now. I'm like, should make that actually available to people as a wallpaper, so people are walking around with my brand on their phone.
Yeah.
But if you can do that through these podcasts, man, that's awesome.
Yeah. Cool.
It helps them identify with it.
I like that. Because where my head was, it's actually funny because my next, the thing I was going to ask you, but I think this kind of addresses it, is like, what, like when you're on a podcast or on a YouTube video or whatever, generally you link out to things, right? Where you plug something per se. Now, if we hadn't talked, and even, either way, I would never, it wouldn't have felt right to plug like, go check out my lessons. I feel like it's a better longer term thing. Like, hey, check out my YouTube, or like stuff where you can actually follow me and build the relationship. And then later worry about the sale if it ever comes even.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's actually interesting, something like that, where it's like, I actually have a wallpaper, I have a whatever it is, I can figure that out. That actually is an interesting way to go too.
But it might be interesting, like if you go, hey, if you'd make this decision where you're going to give your lessons for free, right? Because we think of someone like Tony Robbins, right? How many of his Netflix thing was incredible. I mean, it's basically going to one of his conferences, but it doesn't deter you from actually going to his conference.
Yeah.
You think of we talked last week about Gary Vee. That guy's content is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not stopping people from using his media company or paying for him to come do keynotes.
Yeah.
But owning that language nerd and just constantly giving will get people without the weight. But eventually, I don't know, maybe it might be, I don't know what it would be, what your ask is eventually. Obviously, lessons along the way, no problem. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, there's a lot of like more scalable, a lot of scalable things. Like a lot of people put up programs that they think are good, or courses, things like that too, that are more scalable. But that's definitely one of the simpler ones down the line. But
It'd be amazing if people started paying you to come talk. I mean,
yeah,
I don't even
that
know.
too. Yeah, I
I
like
don't know
talking.
what some of this stuff is, right? Or like, it's I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot you could do there. And again, I think that whole polyglot thing again. We talked about that being potentially challenging for you. With this type of stuff, I think that'll show up too.
Hmm.
That whole polyglot piece, because again, I don't people are gonna have a hard time. The general, if you're trying to go wide, you're trying to go wide, not deep right now.
Yep.
Wide, people aren't gonna know what polyglot means.
Hmm.
They're gonna be like, I'm trying to learn a language and I don't know how to speak French.
Yeah.
How do I speak French? And you can be like, the three things you need to know about French.
Hmm.
I don't know. That'd be a great lesson. If I Googled how do I speak French, and then you get some SEO stuff going in the background with YouTube,
Hmm.
and you get a bit of a base going together. Yeah, or like languages in general, like you'd probably be able. There's got to be a lot of content there.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
like
know.
it. I like it.
That's my thoughts, I guess. My kind of brain dump on it, but I mean, it's a lot of different stuff, right? Between you going away, and I think it's awesome that you're going to get on some of these podcasts, and I'd say also whatever you can do to have them want you to come back in 2 months would be amazing.
Hmm.
How can you add enough value that they're like, we want this guy back?
Right.
So,
Cool, man. Last quick thing. I'll take 2 minutes of your time. Shouldn't take long,
of
but
course,
just an outside perspective. On generally my perspective on things is always like just slow and steady when it comes to growth, like business
yeah,
growth. Kind of where my head goes.
yeah.
Um, and I just wanted an outside perspective, maybe just from what I've seen, my experience is that that's generally how people grow things, and it's rare to see things that go from here to explode, quote unquote, not necessarily overnight, but in a very quick period of time.
Uh, yeah, I mean, I would agree. I think what happens, you got to be able to. My perspective is that you need to have the structure in place to support the growth. Otherwise, the growth could actually hurt you.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
So if you have the ability to scale your structure fast enough, then you can kill it. As long as you can do that. If you can't, you need to build the structure. Think of like building a skyscraper.
Mm-hmm.
And I use analogies all the time. I'm just thinking this one off the top of my head, but it's like, the rebar and everything else that has to go into like the frame of that skyscraper. Like you have to have that, otherwise they can build the best, most beautiful skyscraper ever, and a gust of wind is going to come and destroy it.
Right.
So it's like if there was a shortage of galvanized steel to be able to build the beams and everything else, then they need to halt. They can't build. It doesn't matter how big and great and everything it could possibly be. If the structure won't support it, it's a waste. So the way I've done my business and what I've tried to do is really try to focus on my full-time team and develop them and I'm thinking right now about it's 2017. I'm thinking about my 2019 full-time team.
Right.
Who in our business do I want to, do I feel at this point would make a really good fit for that? And honestly, is it a really good fit for them? Because I'm not going to push them in that direction. I think that's been a bit of a challenge in our business. Go back to when you were around.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes people got pushed into full-time positions and sold into full-time positions to service the company, not to service the company and the person.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I've done in the last 2 years, and it's worked really well. I have some really good people. I have a really tight. Our full-time team is really tight knit.
Mm-hmm.
We got a strong culture. But I will not bring on more than 110 people this year.
Right.
No matter what. Even if I found 140, not going to do it. I'm gonna stress my foundation and my structure way too much. I'm gonna have terrible experiences and terrible brand out there. It's just not worth it. So whatever, I don't know what it is in your world. So tutors yourself, you can't outgrow your capacity.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's just a waste of growth.
Right. Got it.
So I don't think it actually matters, right? Like
Okay.
I think if you can go blow it up and you can handle the blow up, sweet. Like attention, blow that up to the neck, like
Yeah.
just crush that.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's no capacity on that. Like, that's what you can do. You can build that attention and build that following for yourself. And then as you build your structure, decide how much of that that attention you want to deploy at any given point.
Okay. Cool.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's good. Just a good.
I got this.
Oh, there's your baby.
I got
Grayson.
this guy he's starting to wake up. So
okay.
He's been sitting in on our meeting. So he's been eavesdropping. He's gonna get a little language nerd.
Yeah.
T-shirt maybe at some point here.
Yeah, I'll make them for him. Yeah, I actually want to make a shirt. That'd be cool. I want my own shirt. Regardless if anyone else wants it, I want one for myself.
Have some fun with it. Like I think it'd be so cool to have again like a little design. And if you want someone to help you, I mean, you can do whatever design you want. But if there's like I got a graphic guy that we use that's pretty like really cheap.
Oh yeah.
That I use for my other business.
Mm-hmm.
He'd probably do like a logo for you if you wanted, like for like $50. He did all our logos and all our stuff, but for example, you can probably do some of your stuff too. I mean, you're talented with stuff like that. But again, man, I can just see it like this, all lowercase, the language nerds over and over and over, but everyone in different colors and offset constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like this whole like mosaic. So from afar, it just looks like a bunch of colored lines that are weird. And then up close, it's like there's like the language nerd. You're like, whoever the right person will be like, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You make it a wallpaper. They love their wallpaper, and then they can go buy the shirt.
Cool. I like it, man.
It's unreal. So
awesome.
I'm gonna go switch off jobs here.
Yeah, I gotta head out here too. So.
All right, man. Well,
thanks, man. Really appreciate it.
We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Bye.
See you.
Thank you so much for listening, everyone. I really appreciate your attention. For those of you who aren't following me in other places, I actually have a YouTube channel. I have a podcast, obviously. I have Snapchat and Instagram and Medium blog and a whole bunch of different. I'm basically on every single major social network for the most part. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys hit me up there. My username is PolyglotAzren, so PolyglotAzren, Azren, AZREN, on basically every single social network. Yeah, I'd really appreciate it if you guys go hit me up. And yeah, so have a good day, and we'll chat later. Bye for now.